What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the SH Figuarts Ninja Prodigy of the Uchiha clan bloodline, Sasuke Uchiha. Or in other words, my favorite anime character of all time. So you guys already know I am super excited for this one. It is also Naruto, which makes me even more excited. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the sexy packaging before I already start rambling. Now for the sexy packaging, as you guys can see, it's pretty much the same thing we've been getting with all the Naruto lines so far. We've got some kanji right here. I do believe that says Sasuke and then Ninja Prodigy of the Uchiha clan bloodline. That's just what I think. You got the window where you can see the figure. It says Naruto at the bottom, Tamashii Nation's Bandai, Studio Period at the top. Nothing much going on. On the side, we've got an image of my boy right here, same on the bottom. And then also on this side, this is him getting ready to use the, I believe it's the Dragon Flame Bomb technique, or it's just maybe a generic fire style, who knows, but either way, that's dope. And then of course on the back you got some poses you can get the figure into, as well as a bunch of stuff at the bottom I cannot read because I imported this figure. Now let's stop wasting time, because man, I mean it when I say that this is my most anticipated figure of 2023. There's no joking to that. Now, fresh out of the packaging, here we have Kishimoto's favorite character from the Naruto series to draw for good reasons, my boy Sasuke Uchiha. And I gotta be honest, man, this figure looks really damn good. Now, as biased as a review like this could be, I do want to be upfront and say that there are some things that I dislike about the engineering. Now, it's not to say it's a bad figure by any means, because it's a solid figure for sure, but it's just the way that they did a few things with this figure that I don't particularly like. It feels kind of like it flops all over the place, mostly because in certain areas some pieces are separate to the figure, which I feel like they probably could have engineered it a little bit better. And then I also don't like how they did the faceplates for this guy. It's the same as Naruto, which means that it poses the same issue that I have with the Naruto figure, and of course I'll discuss that a little bit later. But overall, proportion wise and everything, it looks solid. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy so we can examine some of the details. Now, starting off with the head sculpt, as you guys can see, he does have the shorter bangs as he did at the beginning of the series, with the slightly, I guess you can say, combed out spiky black hair. It's not as wild as it does get later on as his hair grows when he gets older. We've got the headband, which is painted very nicely. We've got those jet black Uchiha eyes that are painted on very well. You've got this neutral expression. I do love the collar also, but it kind of turns into a bit of a triangle. I wish it was a bit more on the round side, and I do wish that they gave us an interchangeable one where it sits up higher, so you can get him in those poses where he kind of has his mouth tucked off into the collar. You can kind of do it here, but not as much as I would like. Now, that's just a personal thing. It's just something I remember from when I was a kid, how you knew Naruto and Sasuke were very serious in the battle when their mouths were tucked behind the collar, and you could just kind of see from their nose up, and there'd be a bunch of detailing in their expression. Again, that's a personal nitpick. That's not something that's bad about the figure, but I do like how they made it a separate piece here, so you can kind of move it around. The torso is done very, very well. I feel like the shoulders should be a tad bit more broad. They should sit a little bit higher. They just kind of narrow down. That's not bad. That's just another thing that I feel like is a personal nitpick on my behalf. It still looks really good. The arms, they did shorten them as they said they were going to, and I'm so happy they did that, because in the initial prototype they were very long and lanky, which Sasuke isn't very long and lanky. He's only 12 at this point, maybe 13 depending on which part of the series in the beginning we're discussing. We got the pouch right here on the back. The Uchiha logo is painted very nicely, and One thing I need to highlight also is I love the sculpt work for this hair. This looks very, very good. All the way down, man, it looks nice. Now, what I was saying about separate pieces, this right here, the pants right here are a complete separate piece, are the shorts. So you can really turn this all the way in if you want to. And I don't like that, man. It kind of feels like they just kind of flop around. It's a bit annoying to me, mostly because it's just not something I expected. But it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a engineering choice that I don't particularly care for. Now, another one is how they did the faceplates. One thing I don't like is that they pop off from underneath the head sculpt. You tuck them into the headband and they look good as long as you have them on correctly, but as soon as you get to moving the head sculpt, as you guys can see, they begin to pop out and you get all these kind of weird gappings and it makes the faces look like they protrude outward. I don't like that. So you're constantly messing with them, and then that collar piece is getting in the way also. It's going to do that anytime you articulate the head. That's another personal nitpick. If you guys want to call it something bad about the figure, then by all means. It's just something I don't like, but I don't know any way they could have gotten around that, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. It's the same with Naruto once again. Now on down to the legs, this is where everything is just perfect. I feel like this was done to the best of their ability, and I do really like how they engineered all of this. There's so much articulation that is built from the knees down that we don't get with a lot of the older Naruto figures. So again, they really put a lot into this. But overall, proportion wise and everything, details and all, I think it looks fine. It's just a few things I think could have been done better, but paint work is very nice. It's very clean. There's nothing really wrong with the figure, just some things I think I would have liked to see differently. Now, when it comes to the height on this guy, to the top of his head, as you guys can see, he's sitting right at about 4.5 inches. I'd say pushing 5 to the top of the highest spike in his hair. But then again, they don't really sit up high. They kind of sit flat. So it just depends on the angle that you're looking at it. But I have seen that this is a pretty tall figure, much taller than he should be. And of course, I'll show some size comparisons a little bit later so you guys can gauge what I'm talking about. Moving on to articulation, this is where this figure doesn't hold back. Now, he looks up about that much, which is fine. It's actually much better than Naruto, but he doesn't really look down much. And then when you try to get him to look down, again, that faceplate begins to come off, which that's probably my biggest issue with the Naruto line. When they do the faceplates like this, I just don't like how they come off at almost any time you start articulating the heads. But he does get really good tilt and turn, a whole lot of movement at the neck, so you can get Sasuke to be very expressive. The arms do go up and out about that much, which is perfect. I mean, that's about as much as you should expect from it. They do come all the way in, so those punching poses will be fine. Those kunai holding, throwing poses, chidori poses, not going to pose a problem at all, no pun intended. He does have a swivel right here at the shoulder, and then he has an inner swivel right here at the bicep, double jointed elbows that curve right in over that sleeve, which is great. The hands move just fine, not really being hindered by his wristbands at all, so that's perfect. Once again, at the diaphragm, it feels a little bit limited. You can move it around, but not nearly as much as I would like. He does get a tad bit of swivel. Sorry about the background noise, you guys, but yeah, I am filming right next to the window of my room. But anyway, he only gets a little bit of swivel at the waist also, so I don't know, man. I really was hoping he would get a ton more than that. The core area right here is where the most limitation is. He does have the pouch on a peg, as you guys can see. It just kind of pegs on the back of him, and that's not going anywhere. You can move that around. Now moving on to the legs, this is where things get great. As you can see, he does the splits just fine, so kicking poses and everything will not be a problem. This is a swivel, but because it's a separate piece, I really don't even consider that part of the articulation. But if you move the leg there's actually a swivel in there also. Now he has double jointed knees that bend all the way back despite the shorts, and I honestly think this works out because of the design. Kishimoto didn't draw Sasuke with very long shorts that went below the knee, so this just kind of helped out. That's one thing I really like. And then he does have a ball peg right here at the start of the sandal, so that's going to help with articulation. Then on top of that, he gets really good ankle rocker. Foot goes up that much, down that much, and then he does have a toe hinge. So really the only limitations are going to come out of the torso. This is pretty much the exact same as Naruto. So yeah, limitations only right here. Everything else is going to move just fine. Now this figure is already awesome on its own, but I will say that the accessories are what really bring about the fun factor with this guy, because I truly believe that they gave you every accessory needed to recreate every moment Sasuke appeared in the anime, up until the point that he changed outfits for the Chunin exams. As you guys can see, he comes with a neutral head sculpt right out of the packaging and a pair of fist hands. He then comes with a pair of stylish pose hands. He comes with a pair of Rock Lee martial arts hands, which these look awesome. I'm glad they included these. He comes with a pair of kunai holding hands, and then he comes with a pair of hands for holding another weapon, which I will show a little bit later. You guys already know what it is, but I can't wait to show it off. He comes with a hand for when he uses his fireball jutsu, and then he also comes with a set of hands that are clamped together for when he is getting ready to do the fireball technique. Now, one thing I do want to say about the hands while I'm on the subject is I don't know what it is, but they look a little rough. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like they used a different plastic maybe, or they sculpted them a bit different. They don't look as soft, I guess. Soft sculpt. if that's one way to put it. I don't know. Softly sculpted. We'll put it like that. Softly sculpted as the other hands from the rest of the line. They just have a bit of a roughness to them. And that's something that I noticed when I saw the prototype for this figure. Not to say it's bad, but it just looks off in comparison to some of the others. Now anyway, moving on to the faceplates. He comes with a signature smirk. This is for when you got cocky Sasuke. I'm so glad that they included this. He comes with a fireball blowing jutsu. This is for when he's about to light somebody up. And then we have the Sharingan faceplate, which this looks really dope. As you guys can see, he has the 2 tomos in each eye. It doesn't have the third for when he's battling Naruto and he activates it. I'm pretty sure that's a faceplate we'll probably get in the future, as well as an additional Sharingan faceplate where he's just kind of looking neutral. And last but not least, probably my favorite faceplate that comes with him is the comedic faceplate. This is one that they seem to be throwing out there with every Naruto figure, and I couldn't be happier about this because I love when they make these exaggerated expressions. Now, he does come with a kunai also, and it works the same as the one with Naruto. To plug it into his hand, you just pop that back piece off, and then you plug it back on after you've got him holding it. Glad they threw that in there. And then here is the fireball, which looks very, very nice. And to top it off, as you guys can see, there's a small little spot right here for the stand that he comes with. And whenever you want to get him using it, you just kind of plug it in there, and then here it is. I do wish that the stand sat a little bit higher, but that's not bad. It would have been cool if it was adjustable, actually. So yeah, but that is something extra you get. And then you get the Demon Wind Shuriken, which I don't know. This might be my favorite. I'm not sure, because this thing is dope, but also I love this Chidori effect. I love this, man. I don't know why, but I love this so much more than the one that we get with the Shippuden version of Sasuke. As you guys can see, this one looks a tad bit more concentrated, versus this, you can tell, is when Sasuke was still kind of manifesting the technique and how to use it. I love both of them, but I love this more wild-esque look to it, because this is basically telling you that this is a younger Sasuke still working on the technique, versus this is Sasuke when he's got it down and he's going for a full-on throttle attack. So accessory-wise, this is great, man. They did everything necessary. Moving on to size comparisons, here Sasuke is standing next to a couple of figures from the Naruto line. We have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Kid Naruto. We also have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Boruto. And then we have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Kakashi. Now, the reason I threw Boruto in here is because I believe that's actually the height that Naruto and Sasuke should be right around. Maybe a tad bit smaller than that, because I think Boruto's roughly about 13, 14 years old versus this being a 12-year-old version of Naruto and Sasuke. Now, that being said, I do understand why these figures are a little bit bigger, because I think that was Tamashii Nation's way of being able to incorporate all of the extra articulation necessary that us collectors would want. So it's a double-edged sword, but I am fine with it. It works for me. Now, next up is one I just had to do, man. Seeing my boy Sasuke in figure form, getting every version of him, really makes me happy. So here he is standing next to the SH Figuarts Itachi Battle Edition Sasuke, the SH Figuarts Revived Naruto line Sasuke, and then of course a statue that I got, which is the adult Sasuke or Wandering Shinobi. And I love seeing these together. I really hope that at some point Tamashii Nations decides to give us a first appearance from Shippuden Sasuke. I would be all over that release, and then hopefully they'll update this look also, because this just man, it's crazy how much better these two look than this one, and I thought this was the perfect figure when it released. So maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't. If we don't, then it's okay. This is still a good figure on its own. Next up, here he is standing next to some more figures from the Revived Naruto line. We have him standing next to the SH Figuarts Naruto Uzumaki and the SH Figuarts Sakura Haruno. As you can see, he's still smaller than both of them, but a bit taller than he should be. Now, with Itachi, I think this is okay. Perhaps Itachi should be a tad bit taller, but then again, this is Itachi from the old line, so maybe once the new one releases, he will be a bit taller also. Only time will tell. And last but not least, for some extras, here he is standing next to some more anime characters. We have him standing next to the Figma Jujutsu Kaisen Greatness Yuji Itadori, the SH Figuarts Chainsaw Man, which just got announced for Season 2, thank the heavens. And then we also have him standing next to the Buzz Mod, Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba Tengen Uzui. Now, having these two figures in my collection brings about nothing less than pure nostalgia, and that right there is enough to make me enjoy these figures despite some of the flaws that I called out. Now, more specifically talking about Sasuke, because I already did my Naruto review, literally the only issue I have with it is the faceplates. I really hate how no matter how well I articulate the head, how much I try to avoid keeping those faceplates from sliding off, it's just gonna happen anytime you maneuver the head around. And with how stiff the double ball peg is, it just doesn't help, man. And I would say that's probably the most annoying thing about this figure, and I don't even know if you would consider it a quality control issue, because it's just based on engineering. It's going to do that because of the way the figure was put together and composed. So I don't know if that's quality control. Everything else that I mentioned I didn't particularly care for about the figure is my own personal nitpick. It's not like it's anything bad, especially when it comes to the shorts and the lower half of the shorts being separate pieces. It's not a bad thing at all. I think it works the way that it should, and it doesn't really cause any issues with the figure. And then even the shoulders, how they sag a bit. Sasuke is only 12 years old at the time, and I know I keep saying that, so it's not like he needs to have these really buff shoulders, even though I do wish that they had a bit of mass to them. That's just my own personal thing, but overall I do really enjoy this figure. Now, when it comes to both of these, do I enjoy them more than the Shippuden versions? Talking specifically the figures, nah, I don't think so, man, because there almost felt like there was no limitations to the Shippuden versions of these, and I think it's just because they had a little bit more leeway in terms of articulation that they could work with. It just felt like those figures could move endlessly and effortlessly, versus when you're posing these guys around, there are a bit of limitations. Now, that's just my own personal thing. Does that take away from them? Nah, not really. They're still damn great figures, and if you're a Naruto fan, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be figuring out how to add these to your collection if you haven't already. But overall, that's my review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are, and bye.